Good morning, guys. Jake here. Alright, I just want to say I went off on kind of a rant on this video. I made it a few days ago after some comments I got on my email. And I appreciate all the comments, personal emails, whether they're good or bad. That was one of the reasons I started this channel, was to get the interaction with other people and to learn and pass along knowledge and opinions and that general philosophy. When I started my journey a long time ago, 20-something years, I didn't want to build or go off-grid lifestyle because of money or YouTube or to be a fad or anything like that. I saw a long time ago what was coming to this country. You may still not believe what's going on. You may not think what's going on is bad. You may be totally aware. I know a lot of people are scared to come out and say what they really think. And that's their own prerogative. I keep a lot of my personal political views and things to myself. I don't put them on this channel, but I've made it very clear and aware that you should be prepping. I was talking to another YouTuber the other day, and preppers and homesteaders kind of go hand in hand. You may be a homesteader and not consider yourself a prepper, and you may be a prepper and not consider yourself a homesteader. When in all honesty, they are one and the same. And I use YouTube for learning. I know a lot of people use it just, you know, for good laughs and a good time and talk to people or socialize or whatever, and that's great entertainment. But you should be taking this time, what little time that you have left, to learn every possible aspect of self-reliance that you can. I cannot stress that enough. And it is not so much off-grid. I watch a lot of these off-grid channels. A lot of them are big channels. Make a lot of money on YouTube. These channels that are big, don't think they're not making money. They're making good money, all right? And it discourages me to click on one of these big channels, you know, 100,000 plus subscribers, just to watch these people regurgitate the news from yesterday, or use a four-letter word every other word to get people hyped up and ramped up. You know, they take your money, the money you should be using to help yourself and your family in this time. You know, you see these donations roll across the screen, which is all great if you can give, you know, but these people with 100,000 plus subs on YouTube, they don't need your money, folks, all right? The information they're giving you, most of it, 90% of it, is regurgitated from yesterday. That's just the honest truth of it. What are they actually really truly showing you to help you in this situation? Very few of them out there are. They're going out camping in the woods. You're not going to live that way. For all of you guys that think you're just going to run from the city, go out into the country, stake off a little piece of land, throw out some seeds, raise a garden, kill all your deer, and live happily ever after, that's not how it's going to work, guys. The truth of it is, that's not how it's going to work. Millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of people are going to be affected. You're not going to go out and deer hunt. You're not going to go out and kill a rabbit. You're not going to go out into the country and live in the forest. There are going to be millions of other people trying to do the same thing. And yet you're going to be the one that pulls it off. You don't think the drug cartels aren't going to come back in? You don't think gang violence in the cities isn't going to spread out into the country? You think you live out in the middle of nowhere, you're going to escape all that and be void from it? There ain't nobody that you're watching on YouTube off-grid. If they're off-grid, they ain't on YouTube. And any of them that are on YouTube that I've seen, they're still using the grid to get by with their everyday life. All right? Most of these people that you see off-grid, running out here building their little tiny home, their little shack, living off-grid, those people aren't even staying at that house. They went out there, ventured up this little scheme, built this little tiny house, and they run back to their big city life. It's all fake. All right, there are very few real off-grid people on YouTube. I would be really surprised if there was anybody on YouTube that actually knew somebody that was fully off-grid. All right? I'm not trying to go for an off-grid lifestyle. I'm trying to go for a more self-reliant lifestyle. For what's coming. Hard times are coming, folks. You think it's hard now? You think it's crazy now? This is only the beginning of what's going to happen. I can only tell you the truth. How do I know? What do I know? There's no need for me to tell you all that. Do your own research. If you ain't figured it out by now, I call you a statistic. I'm willing to help anybody that's out there that has a question or an issue, trying to be more self-reliant. That's what I'm trying to do, help and teach those people. But when I get on YouTube and you're looking through videos and inevitably you see the one where the girl is half naked standing in the forest. She's got a yurt in the background. Everything just looks all dreamy and it's an off-grid shower video. Well, of course, you're going to get 300,000 clicks just from the naked woman on the front of it. But you watch the video and there's absolutely nothing in there of sustainable value for an off-grid shower, living off-grid whatsoever. I mean, if you got a generator and you're trying to live off-grid, you are not off-grid. I'm sorry to tell you. You're using the grid to live off-grid, first off. That's where this rant came from. That video coming from off-grid and knowing how hard it is, the lifestyle that you have to live to actually be off-grid, people are not going to make it. If you think you're just going to leave the city and run out into the country when all this goes down and you're going to be okay, I got news for you folks. It is not that easy. These guys that are spreading all this BS on YouTube, 100,000 subscribers, I don't have to tell you who they are. People watch them. And for what reason? They live in a big city, but yet they're going to tell you how to survive and prepare and make it through what's coming, knowing that the city that they're going to live in is going to be complete chaos, but yet they're going to intend on staying in the city and making it. If you got any sense at all, you already know you ain't going to make it in the city. That's going to be the first place is total control. That's where they want everybody. When you're in that city, they control you. You're not going to raise your own food. You can't obtain your own water. All of those are off the table. You're at the mercy and the whim of the people who are going to feed you and take care of you. You're going to have your hand out. That's the whole point in getting out into the country and owning some land so that you can take care of yourself. And to see these videos on YouTube, all they're going for is views and subs and likes and money. They ain't going to help you. So, like I said, take this time, guys. Entertainment's okay, but you better be taking this time to learn some good knowledge. Knowledge is the key, and knowledge is what's going to get you through what's coming. Nobody has lived through what's coming upon us. You can call it whatever you want. Biblical, realism, socialism, I don't care what adjective you use to it. It's happening right now in our face every day. You better stand up and take notice because it's going to roll right over you. For you guys that think you're going to go out there and live off grid or you're trying, watch this video, all right? The glitz and glamour that all these off-grid channels are showing you is not how it really is. This house right here is off-grid. We are not attached to the electrical line that runs down the road out in front of our house. We do use propane here, so I depend on the grid. Everything here we depend on the grid. Our refrigerator, our water well pump, the building materials that you see around me. You're not going to make it without the grid. There are no misconceptions. I've been there and done it. This video is going to show you where I started and where I ended up. Let me show you what an off-grid house can be like. It's probably a little big for most, But you got about 5,000 square feet of barndominium. All of your modern conveniences that you need are right here in this house. All right? But to get there, took a lot of time and money. And that's the first thing I'm going to tell you about trying to live off-grid and self-reliant. It's very expensive and it's a very hard life. There are reasons why people don't do it anymore. There's a reason why everybody's not off-grid living out in the country with no bills. There are reasons why. Alright, so thanks for watching, guys. I hope I didn't rant too much on the rant, but I just wanted to give you fair warning. No offense to anybody out there that's trying to live YouTube off-grid. Alright? I have much respect for anybody that's trying. Again, I don't really know anybody that's off-grid on YouTube. Maybe more self-reliant. That's the way to go. You need to try and be more self-reliant. It's getting too late, guys. You better get started quick. That's all I can tell you. Thanks for watching the video. Here's the finish up part. And again, no offense to anybody out there. Don't get butthurt over it. It was just, I was undecided on whether to put this video up or not. Thanks, guys. Hey guys, I decided to make a little video here. A couple of videos back, I made a few comments about the off-grid YouTube community, and I got a few emails telling me I didn't know what I was talking about, that I had plenty of money and there's no way that I lived off-grid, and I couldn't do the things I wanted to do off-grid, and I didn't know what I was talking about. So I thought I would go back in time a little bit here and just to show you guys where I started and where all of my off-griddiness, grittiness, whatever you'd like to call it, started and came from. Alright, so let's go back about 20 years in time, before YouTube even existed. And when you go off grid, folks, alright, it's off grid. There is no electricity, there is no cell phone, there is no running water, there is no heat, there is no generator, there is none of that modern convenience. And I lived right here between those two posts in my hammock out of my bug out bag that you've seen in my vehicle. Basically, I stayed right here. That is off-grid. Alright? There wasn't no YouTube channel to upload to. There were no modern conveniences. There were no going to town, blah blah blah. It was off-grid. Alright? Now, people don't show you the real glamour of off-grid. They want to show you the glitz and the hoorahs and all of the good stuff. And it's a great idea, you know. You're going to pack up, sell everything. You're going to move off out into the middle of nowhere, all right? You're going to build some little shed and you're going to live on no money. Guess what? That's not going to happen, all right? Let me tell you about living off-grid, all right? When is the last time any of you washed your clothes by hand and dried them outside? Alright? When is the last time any of y'all went outside and took a crap when it was 15 degrees and snowing? When was the last time any of y'all were sick and slept outside in the cold rain underneath a tarp? Alright? With no heat. When is the last time y'all went out and chopped and split your own wood to last you all year long for your heat and your cooking, what you're going to do right here? Alright? I'd really like to see it. None of this glitz and glamour, off-grid generator, run to town, do your errands kind of stuff, and come back out here to the little tiny house cabin that I built. Alright? Now, I'm not knocking anybody for saying you're off-grid, but this is off-grid. Your tiny house or your RV or whatever, that's not off-grid. Where did you buy all that stuff? All right? You still driving a vehicle? Where are you buying all your materials? Where did all the tools come from that you built it with? Where is everything that you're using to claim your off-grid cabin is off-grid? You're going to town and buying fuel for your generator. You're going to town and buying food. You're going to town and washing your clothes. You're going to town to upload your videos. That's not off-grid. When you go out here in the woods and you pick a stump and you take a dump out there for 6 months, all right, in the rain and the cold and the heat and the flies and the bugs for 6 months, that's off-grid. All right? I got tired of living this way. It ain't that it can't be done, it can be. Very much so. But there's a reason why people don't live like this anymore. There's a reason why people don't live off-grid anymore. All right? So let me show you what I moved up to. All right, guys, after about 6 months of living off-grid, I got tired of that. And I built this. It's a 14 by 40 underground cabin. I went underground to try and save on air conditioning, keep it cool in the summer here in Texas. And it helps somewhat keep it warm in the wintertime as well. You see there's a little wood burning stove in there. There's running water. I collected rainwater off of this building, stored it in the back there, 500-gallon tank. Got propane, got a generator. Put some batteries in there where I can have a refrigerator and lights, 12-volt RV pump for pressurized water, propane water here. Got most of the modern essentials in the little tiny house right here. And you know, for one person, it's not bad, guys. You can make it. You can make it work. And one thing I would tell you about a tiny house is build a big outside porch, because that little tiny house is going to close in on you. I don't care how much money you think you're going to save. Rule number 2, off-grid. If it's off-grid, it's going to cost you more money. Nobody wants to come out here and work on this stuff. All right, it's going to cost you more to drive back and forth to town to get materials. Contractors don't want to come work on it. You've built half of it yourself. They don't want to come and work on what you've been working on. Chances are it's probably not going to be built to code. All right, none of this stuff is, but the little building works. All right, even with all the modern essentials in there. The glitz and glamour of a tiny house is not all it's cracked up to be. You think you're going to save money and blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you guys, all right, from experience. You don't want a place so small that you're taking a dump 5 feet from where you're fixing to cook your dinner, all right? Simple things. There is nowhere to store the things that you need inside of that house. You think you're going to get by with less? I lived on bare minimum, and there's still not room to keep your bare minimum essentials inside of that house. You're going to be building storage buildings, garages, all kinds of other stuff, just to keep the stuff that you need around your farmstead. Well, you think I'm going to have an outhouse. You run back into the same situation. You do not want to be taking a dump outside at 15 degrees, all right? Storming, raining, cold. When's the last time most of y'all were in an outhouse when it was 90 degrees plus for several days? The sawdust trick, guys, only works so long. All right? There's a reason why we don't use outhouses. You think you can do it? Yeah, I'm sure you can. A lot of people do. But you don't want to do it. When you're young, full of piss and vinegar, it's all great. But when you get to be 50, you don't want to split your own wood. See that stump right over there? That's where I used to split all my own wood by hand. That gets old real quick when you're using wood to heat your house and cook. Half of your day is gathering, splitting wood, gathering, filtering, and cleaning water. Half of your day. That doesn't include the rest of your food, your chores, everything else. Modern conveniences go a long way. You think you can live without them? Sure, you can. But life is a lot harder. Just the simple things. A washer and a dryer, a refrigerator, a microwave. When the last time you got sick, what'd you do? You didn't feel good, you laid in bed, you had the heater, the AC on, you jumped up, you went and got some chicken noodle soup, you threw it in the microwave, you heated it up with some crackers, you were good to go. When you live out here off grid, it ain't that simple. What if you're low on firewood and you ain't got none, you're cold, you're sick. It's raining outside, it's 15 degrees. You're gonna lay there in that cabin and die if you don't get firewood. You gotta come out here and chop firewood, spend 30, 40 minutes, hard labor, get a fire going, get it all done just to heat up your chicken noodle soup that you want. No hot shower, no nothing. All right, so I lived in this for several years. All right, let me show you what I moved up to then. And now guys, I've graduated to this. I've tried to build my place as self-reliant as I can possibly be. No, it is not off-grid. We are not attached to the electrical grid itself, but we have internet service, we have plenty of power, we have washers, dryers, heated water, running water, pressurized water, water wells. Everything runs off of solar on this house. I could have went small, but the money that you save building your own house, not paying a general contractor, why not put it back into your home? Every dollar you invest into your home is going to double over time. All right? I got kids. I want room for them to grow and play, have our private areas, plenty of room for a family. So yeah, this is probably a little big for what we need, but hey, why not? And again, it is all off-grid per se. Everything in there, cooking, clothes drying, water heating, is all run by propane. All right, see that big propane tank? Big generator over there? Even though it's off-grid, this place would not be built without the grid. So all of these YouTube people out there claiming off-grid, running out into the woods, building a little shed, I'd be willing to bet that 90% of them, probably 95% of them, don't even live at that house. All right? That's just the honest fact of it. Now, there probably is a few out there that are making it. I know a few personally. They're doing a good job of trying to be self-reliant. That's what more of it is self-reliance, not off-grid. I would be willing to bet probably very few people on YouTube actually know somebody that is completely off-grid. If they got a car, they own land, they have any modern convenience at all, they are attached to the grid, folks. All right, so if you're watching these off-gridders, tiny houses for entertainment, that's great. But if you're actually really trying to live a dream, to be more self-reliant, all that kind of stuff, all right, I would steer you totally away from a tiny house. Build the dream that you want. All right, it may take a long time to do it. I've been working on this place for 5 years. All right, but when it's done, it will be complete and it will be your dream. And you will not have had to have sacrificed anything that you wanted. It is all possible. All right, it's just a matter of how hard you want to put in the effort to get it done. All right, thanks for listening to the rant, guys. Again, I don't mean to step on nobody, but all these off-grid channels, you know, showing their girlfriends and their wives' butts and chests and showers and all that kind of stuff just to get views, really does burn my liver up after actually coming from off-grid and knowing what it takes to do it. So don't be fooled. Think you're going to get a little tiny house and move out into the middle of nowhere and not have any bills or any problems? Remember what I said. Living off-grid is very expensive. That's rule number 1. Thanks for watching, guys. More to come. Hit that subscribe button, like, share. I appreciate it.